Good evening. Request all the invitees to put yourself on mute, please. All the invitees who have joined, thank you for joining on time, and request all of you to put yourself on mute.
আমার কাজ করতে করতে ঘরের কাজ হচ্ছে, কলেজের কাজও 7টা পর্যন্ত আমার মাথা খারাপ।
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, we will start, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening.
Good afternoon,
Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon. To see that 5 minutes before the start of the program, all 100 seats are filled up. In room, all the 100 seats are filled up.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, anyone, please put your
Good afternoon, sir. Good evening,
put
sir.
your phones on mute. All put your phones on mute. Kindly put all your phones on mute. All your machines on mute. At the bottom on the left, Ishmit Kaur Dhanjal, please put your phone on mute. Yeah. So, let me just have a final look. Chinmay Nayak, please put your phone on mute. Arunashish Laik, please put your phone on mute. Yeah. So we begin. We are exactly 2 minutes away from 5 p.m. We'll start formally at 5. Really impressive to see that everyone, all the 100 seats are full 5 minutes in advance. And the rest, there are 600 people who have registered. The rest will be watching it live on YouTube. Since all the seats are full, though there are 2 minutes till now, and all our speakers are here, our Honorable Chancellor is also here. So let's begin the discussion. A discussion that we have been waiting for the last 15 days to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ujjwal, Professor Ujjwal Kumar Chaudhary. I'm the Pro Vice Chancellor of Adamas University and the Dean of its School of Media, Communication and Fashion. We have the pleasure of presenting to you the first chapter or first edition of a series of such discussions that we shall have from Samit Ray Foundation. It is an attempt by Samit Ray Foundation to reach out to a larger audience with some vision in mind. I will not speak about the vision. I'll want my Chancellor to speak about the vision. সকলকে ধন্যবাদ সময়ের আগেই আসার জন্য 5 মিনিট থাকতে সবাই চলে এসেছেন 100 সিট কমপ্লিটেড বাকিরা 600 জন টোটাল রেজিস্টার্ড ছিল বাকি 500 জন ইউটিউব লাইভ স্ট্রিমিং এ দেখছেন আজকের এই আলোচনা গত 15 দিন ধরেই আমরা এর চর্চা করেছি সবার সাথে যার ভিত্তিতে আপনারা রেজিস্টার্ড হয়ে এসেছেন অনেক ধন্যবাদ ইনফ্যাক্ট অশেষ ধন্যবাদ এটা প্রথম চ্যাপ্টার প্রথম এডিশন একটা সিরিজ হবে আমাদের কর্ণধার রাইস এডুকেশনের প্রতিষ্ঠাতা এবং আমাদের চ্যান্সেলর প্রফেসর সমিত রে এখানে আছেন সমিত রে ফাউন্ডেশনের উদ্যোগে আজকের এই আলোচনা চক্র I request Honorable Chancellor Professor Samit Ray to give the vision of this series of discussions in which we have 3 honorable guests, Dr. Bishwajit Saha, Director Training and Learning from CBSE, Training and Development, sorry, from CBSE, and Dr. Professor Ritu Sood, the Honorable Dean of Sarada University of Delhi, NCR. And also, we have the pleasure of having Professor Vivek Vaswani, the Dean of School of Contemporary Media of Pearl Academy, and also very well-known film director, producer, and actor, both on television and on cinema. So to begin this day, I request our founder and leader, Chancellor Professor Samit Ray, to set the ball rolling by discussing what the vision is of the foundation in general and in particular for doing this series of 7 to 8 discussions, today being the first. Over to Professor Samit Ray.
Thank you, Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary. This is the Professor Samit Ray, the founder chancellor of Adamas University and the founder chairman of Adamas International School, Adamas World School, based at Kolkata, West Bengal. I extend my warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Samit Ray Foundation. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the Zoom meeting on current topics, that is the educational changes after COVID-19. I'm indeed honored to have you here with us and welcome to our eminent speakers. And they will share their experience. And welcome Dr. Bishwajit Saha, Director Training and Skill Education, CBSE. Yes. Welcome Professor Dr. Ritu Sood, Dean School of Media, Film and Entertainment, Sarada University, Greater Noida. Welcome Mr. Vivek Vaswani, Actor Director from Bollywood, and the Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary, my Provisy, ex-Dean of Symbiosis and the Director of Pearl Academy. Samit Ray Foundation is a welfare social organization which was founded 2017 and 18. As a chancellor of Adamas University, I realized during the last 35 years, there is a certain area of the society where we're unable to reach. So the idea was formation of this organization to reach the people and to
Sir,
make
one minute, sir. Angad Deep Singh, please mute your mic. Angad Deep Singh, please mute your mic. Yes, sir, continue.
to make the lives better, because we know there is a certain area where the society belongs, there the education is not yet reached. So my idea is that there should not be one children will drop, forced to drop from primary education to the higher education, because once upon a time we remember that Nalanda, the India was the knowledge capital of the world. So if we want to transform that rural lives and try to bring that lives into the bright light, then we will transform India, and the India again may be the capital of knowledge world, knowledge country and world. So we have different responsibility. So as a founder of the Sumitra Foundation, I always think how we can reach those people, how can we make their lives better also. Education is supposed to transform us into a complete human beings. So we have to take care about these things. If we wish truly make India powerful, so we have to take care of that lives, especially the children who are in the village and the interior area of our country. So it is a great journey, because I've started my journey from a tutorial home to a university. So I want to contribute to the society some areas which can help to develop our country. So I think as a founder of that Sumitra Foundation, we have the responsibility, we have some duty to the society, because today's Sumitra, as a chancellor, as a chairman of the Adamas International School and the World School, it is possible due to the ex-student, ex-guardians, ex-parents. So I am very much obliged to those people who help me to be the powerful. So again, I will thanks to all the participants. I think that this series will help to all the people. What will happen after COVID lockdown? Yet there will be the change in the education. There will be a change system of the education. So we have to take care regarding the education. At the same time, we have to take care of the society. Thank you, Professor Ujjwal Choudhury. So you can start your seminar. Again, I will welcome to all the speakers who will deliver their speak. And they will share also their experience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You have set the ball rolling. This is our social outreach, and we shall come out with 8-part series. This is the first one on education, and the audience in front are largely educationists, or some may be very close to, they may not be personally educationists, but they are education loving people.
Right.
There are extraordinary scholars also. I can see just now in front of me, Dr. Sanjeev Ghosh, the former presidency, a long-term principal and a professor emeritus, and who has worked with Nobel laureates. I can see many principals of many schools in front of me, and many others as well. In the same series, we will also come out with how small and medium enterprises can redesign their business in the era of post-COVID situation, or post-COVID if there is a recession. We will also talk about vaccine, the health aspects of COVID. Another session will be also focusing on new lifestyle that we have to bring. How do we bring physical distancing in our day-to-day life? So a series of 8 such programs every Sunday 5 to 7 p.m. over the next 2 months. will be organized by Samit Ray Foundation to prepare our friends, our people all connected to us to face this situation. In the plethora of information, we would like to focus on certain information, certain analysis that you can apply. So we have 3 speakers today. I will begin with the first speaker. Many of the school principals are waiting to listen to him, Dr. Bishwajit Saha. Dr. Bishwajit Saha, if you could come on video. I know you are here, and if you could come on video, yes. That's Dr. Bishwajit Saha. I will also pin his video, so everyone can see him in a larger manner. Dr. Bishwajit Saha is a man who is at the helms of affairs of school education at the level of CBSE. And all new developments, new policies, programs that you are seeing, new addition to courses, all this research, development, and procedures, the responsibilities of Dr. Bishwajit Saha and his team. I request Dr. Bishwajit Saha to elucidate what according to him are the current and the future impacts of COVID on school education, and how the headmasters and headmistresses all in this audience should prepare themselves for current situation and post-COVID situation, where physical distancing would be required in a big way. How to handle this problem, this issue. Over to Dr. Bishwajit Saha, who will speak for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Dr. Bishwajit Saha, please.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Ujjal. My sincere thanks to Professor Shamitra, who is Chancellor of Adamas University and of course founder of Samit Ray Foundation. Eminent panelist, Professor Ritu Sood, as well as Professor Vivek, and of course all senior colleague, Professor Ghosh and others who are visible right in front of me. It's really great pleasure to address you all in this manner, especially in these crisis situations. And this situation is basically, I believe, all are facing crisis one way. Other way, I think technology is also helping each one of us to thrive, as well as to put our best effort into action. And that's the school principals are right today, or for for last 2 months during this lockdown period initiated in India, they have started working upon it. But at the same time, we are facing challenges in terms of conducting examination. The rest of our examinations, we have not yet completed our 10+2 examination, and other challenges with respect to paper checking. Of course, thanks to Home Ministry for allowing us, giving CBSE a special permission to distribute the paper from our exam centers. And so that way, many things we can carry out at this stage. At the same time, we need to focus upon the learning what usually happened in school pre-lockdown situations. Completely it was synchronous learning. And now also many school principals are trying to put a calendar. Even it is equally true for the higher educational institute also, putting a timetable, and a screen time will be there, and where the teacher will come and the lecture series will goes on. But this synchronous learning is actually a problem for young kids, especially up to class 8 student, classes 1 to 8, and from 9 onwards, of course, we can enhance the screen time, and of course for the higher educational institute, college goers also, we can think in that dimension. So for synchronous learning, the problem one way with respect to screen time, other way the attention level, because due to this, and third challenge is device availability and the internet connection. Many households, if I don't have the data, but pure assumptions, I am just sharing with you. Many parents have the normal phone, and many parents may have the smartphone. If we look into the metro cities, maybe for the private good schools, means where the kids of rich are usually enrolled, there are more than 80% parents may have the smartphone, laptop, and other latest handle device through which definitely the class activities and other activities a student can attend. But at the same time, 10 to 15% of those schools are also having a missing attendance. Now, it may be not really due to the device crisis, but due to this COVID crisis, some psychological pressures are also there at home. So what would be the solution? So I'm just putting my suggestions before all of you. One way, we must aim to cultivate a culture of asynchronous learning. And this will not going to help at only in crisis situations. These solutions would be forever. You think of especially the winter zone, think of the red corridor zone, think of the student with special need, think of athletes, think of the other category of students who are some way not able to attend all the classes in school or colleges. So here my submission would be, through digital educations, I think we can minimize this gap, but at the same time, the challenge with respect to the digital divide. Now, how to minimize that digital divide? So again, my submission would be, here, collectively, unlike Mr. Ray's foundations, definitely other foundations are also working. We can also aim to, because academic institute, maybe after these crisis situations, they can think of opening their at least digital infrastructure beyond the school hour or college hour. So that if some students are not able to attend the school or college, but the lecture series or repository we can create. Of course, the CBSE has come up with a huge repository in Diksha portal. So Diksha is a platform where we crowdsource the content from classes 6 to 10 initially, now 1 to 12. So, and that is under a program called Vidyadan. So Vidyadan 1.0 we launched in the month of September, and Vidyadan 2.0 we launched by Honorable HRM on 22nd April. So through that kind of initiative, we can crowdsource a lot of material, and the teacher and expert from the university colleges can help us to curate those content. And not only that, so this is one aspect. Other aspects, what we can do during or off crisis situations. TV is a medium which is almost reached to every household. So is it possible? Of course, through Swayam Prabha, there are 32 channels are available, but we are also aiming to put class-wise channel. So if class-wise channel, and here there will be a huge requirement of a program. I think Professor Sood and Professor Vivek can highlight how that media industry can come forward and help us to prepare a good quality education program which can be telecasted or broadcasted through radio and also through TV, unlike serial. So then, and this serial, that Edu serial, will also have the complete lesson plan in the website. Either the school can put on their website, or the state can put on their website, university can put their website, so that through asynchronous mode, in synchronous mode, the one can view as per the timetable, the TV serial. If somebody miss, they can look into the web TV where it would be available, the complete lesson plan, the content related to the curriculum, the video transactions, everything will be available. So at their time, they can look into all those dynamics. Now here for content design also, I believe there will be a new mechanisms we need to develop, especially for the instruction design. Here, there could be one term let me use, that is a kind of size which will fit to all students. It cannot be aimed that a customized content only for a specific category of child. So we need to come up with the instruction design which will fit all kind of students, whether they are CWSN, whether they're Premier, Prodigy, or the normal kids with normal IQ. So for all kind of students, if we can develop this kind of instruction, I think that way we can reach to many, and digital divide, the question of digital divide in the age of digital education will be minimized, and we can, of course, aim for a better life. Last 1 minute, my time is over, but I'll take 1 or 2 more minutes if Professor Ujjal, if you're okay with that. Can I? Okay.
Please speak, please speak.
So basically the problem with respect to, so one is instruction delivery, which is of course content, and but most of the parents are thinking how the assessment will be carried out. Because nowadays some PTM meeting is also virtually through Zoom and other platforms, Google Hangout. So many of the parents are showcasing their concern about the syllabus coverage, content coverage, what would be the professional examinations, entrance exams. So all those dynamics are in and around. So my submission, we need to strategize that for classes 1 to 8, one kind of strategy, no matter what would be the absurd situations we are going to face. So 1 to 8 strategy would be only 2 hours screen time, and let them do all kind of activities at home, including the physical fitness activity, because CBSE along with the Sports Authority of India, we are already hosted a series of fitness program, and those fitness programs are also available in YouTube. You can play at any point of time. The second point is art integrations. Third point, how we can actually connect the student with our strong heritage. Professor Ray has tried to put an Nalanda and others. So India has a strong heritage of Gurukul systems and other educational backing. So here, the traditional methods also need to be adapted, because we confidently know that all our students are not able to assess the digital education through their smartphone, or because of the non-availability of handheld device. So they are the traditional approach like project-based learning, and the practical approach through which one can do something on their hand. Then only the crisis which we are going to face due to the movement of migrant laborers and other. So through handheld activities, if we promote in the school and colleges, I think then a new chapter, and 21st century skills especially, we all need to focus upon in our curricula, and then we can find the solutions, and of course fulfill the job markets and other policies. The last request I would like to in this particular time,
kindly mute your phone, Dr. Omnath.
And
mute your phone,
a
Dr.
kind
Omnath.
of joint forum, a school, college, university, frankly speaking, in today's scenario, all are working in silos. Nobody are only for the purpose of admission. Many a times, university, especially private university and government university, aiming for school participation. But at the same time, we need to work together, because huge infrastructure, both in private university and government universities, as well as government college and private colleges, are underutilized after 2 p.m. or after 4 p.m. How we can channelize this infrastructure for better use for the school student, and that too also during summer vacation. many schools are suffering the shortage of laboratory equipment, especially physics and chemistry lab, and of course the computer lab. It may not be the scenario for all CBSE schools, but in many state-run schools, many private affordable schools are having this crisis. So my humble submission to this August gathering, how we can collaborate and find a solutions, effective solution, so that even if this kind of crisis God should not face, uh, give us this kind of situations in future, but of course, how collaboratively we can work together with that missions, we should further progress. Thank you once again for listening, and if there will be any
Thank you, Dr. Saha. Please be there. There will be questions, a few questions to you as well. Let's take briefly from the other two speakers and then we can get into the questions. Doctors, particularly there will be questions on higher secondary class 11 and 12, sir. So we'd request you to be there.
Okay.
Your point on asynchronous learning, learning from multiple locations, learning at multiple times. This is a very significant point. Issue of connectivity you have brought in. You have talked about digital resources, the problem of connectivity of learner and their parents. You have also suggested very well that digital infrastructure of good schools and universities can be shared for less fortunate young children at off hours or the hours after the classes. You have talked about Disha, Disha online learning platform, and also Vidyadan. Yes, that is many schools have already started benefiting from Diksha and Vidyadan. Sir, we and Samit Ray Foundation also has Chetana.tv, our television platform online, and we are producing study material content just now for schools and higher education both, which could be also shared for its distribution or use by various schools across the country. The English version of it can be shared. So your very good suggestion of 2 hours screen time, limiting to every child to 2 hours screen time, and a load of other art and sports activities, physical activities is also a very good suggestion, well taken. We will go into the discussion a little later. I request now Professor Dr. Ritu Sood, the former Dean of GD Goenka and currently the Dean of Sarada University, to speak next and take us through her idea of education beyond COVID. Thank you. Dr. Ritu Sood, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Ujjwal. And I would like to thank Chancellor, sir, and also Mr. Saha and everybody present here. Thank you so much. And yes, we are talking about education post-COVID. Now, the thing is that post-COVID, I do not know when that will be, because as it's going in India, it'll be a long time. So what happens? There will be few children who will be going to the school. There will be even fewer who will be going, who will be coming from outer outstation. There'll be more few who will be coming from abroad. So what happens during that time? During that time, like in admissions, that what is happening today is that we are having less and less of more of local students and less of students from outside. So now what has happened is the technology has come to our rescue. All of a sudden lockdown was announced and the pandemic was at its peak, and we went into Zoom classes or whatever technology we were using. As educators, we all of a sudden had a technology to experiment with. As a student, we already had a personal conversation with our teacher. But of course, the distance learning is not as good as face-to-face learning. During this time, it's okay as a middle class or a higher, or going to universities, private universities, or we can afford this technology. But imagine in a government school, or imagine in a backward area where there's one school in the entire periphery. What happens to education there? How technology comes in there? Because there is no light, there is no internet, there is no bandwidth. So I guess we have to also think about those things also. And as we are talking about technology, so let me say that Yes, of course, we are making a lot of content driven program, but that is not enough. This generation that we are teaching to is generation Z and the generation Alpha that is coming up. So this generation is already technology enabled, and they already have Google at this thing. So as an educator, it is up to me to learn more and give them more, have more experimental classrooms, have more, because to screen time, holding screen time is very difficult. And also regarding the content has to be very well driven, because remote is in your hand, and it can, they can just change. So similarly, I remember during when we were students, at that time there was Gyan Darshan and all. We never took that seriously. But today it's time to take technology seriously. And as a media practitioner and as a dean of Sharda University, what I feel is that yes, we are adopting. We also have podcast, and we are also doing community radio station. And luckily for us, we are in Knowledge Park 3, and this is the only community radio station. So we are broadcasting programs for children, for students, obviously for higher education currently. And we are also creating a lot of awareness about pandemic. And I'll tell you something very interesting is that because developing 3D animation and 4D animation is a very expensive thing. So what we did was that we have a complete department of animation and gaming. And it's very interesting how these students themselves, they came up with the idea, and they are developing today. Let's see, you want to show, because Sharda also has Sharda Hospital in the periphery, and we have MBBS students also, and we also have health communication. So our students are developing these 3D models, and we are broadcasting it. And also, I would also like here to do is that yes, we have to redefine ourselves, we have to learn ourselves, and we also have to the need of the hour is not educating our children but also adult education. Because what is happening around us is that I am sending, supposing I am an illiterate, I themselves, I am an illiterate, I am sending my child to government school because I want a better future for him or her. But what is happening? I do not know the technology. So as a result, I'm scared of the technology. Why? Because I've heard it from somewhere that, you cannot use this technology. It's not good for your child. Probably your child will go somewhere else to something, see some other TV or some program. So I have seen this fear in the parents. And because I myself am a development communication expert, and I do a lot of films at grassroots level and researches at grassroots level, what I've seen is that first of all, Android phone, even if the parents have, it's mostly with the father. Mother always has a simple basic mobile phone, and father is mostly away. He comes back at 8 or 9 after work. The child is not able to have access to that mobile, the Android mobile. Similarly, uh, uh, television is there, broadband is there, sorry, not broadband, DTH is there. They're watching channels, they're doing everything. But what happens to this education? Education, unless the mobile phone comes in their hand at 9, they cannot access it, because not everybody has computers and laptops. So this is a very big challenge which I feel post pandemic we are going to have, if the teaching is learning has to be totally online. And probably, like sir was saying, that we could have a very good content based education channels, and universities like Admas and Sharda, and we could contribute to the government for these kind of contents. And yes, of course we can make it, because now we are at the experimental stage. And it again becomes the responsibility of the media, because yes, we have educators, we have fantastic chemistry professors, we have fantastic everybody, but content is in the hands of the media educators. We are the ones who are to create it. And today also, even if we are under lockdown, media is everywhere. Media is working 24 hours, 24/7, bringing you news and bringing you coverage responsibly. So what I would say is that yes, we need to now rethink, we need to re-educate ourselves as educators, and we have to look at the technology, experiment with the technology, and our main focus should be the child, because the child should not suffer. Just because of a pandemic, we cannot compromise with the education of the children. So whatever is the means, we have to rediscover new means and whatever, and just bring the content to the child on his laptop, on his mobile, provided the child and his parents have the money to buy that mobile or the laptop. And that I would request CBSC to please provide our uh, students from rural backgrounds or from economically weak backgrounds, if they could, instead of books, they could be given laptops to work on with the content enabled laptop. That would be fantastic. And of course, we are there. We will be preparing in maybe in another 3-4 months. You'll see a lot of content, interesting content coming up on television. Of course, that's what the private universities, the best we can contribute at this time is we can do content. Yes, of course, we will be doing the content. And of course, I would also like to say is that web content, a lot of web content is currently available, and it will be continuing available. But what is there is in the content makes a lot of difference. And I guess, Ujjwal ji, I think I've said enough. Or do you want me to continue? Because as a media person, I can keep talking.
No problem. No problem. We will get back again with question answers.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Saha, there have been some questions specifically for you. Before I call the next speaker, Mr. Vivek Vaswani, Dr. Saha, if you could come on video, and I would present the questions to you, and if you could, kindly address them. Yes.
Sure.
The first one question is, what happens to the practical work, and specifically with respect to the class 11 and 12 students at this point of time?
Okay, basically for practical, already OLabs, that is CDEC and Amrita University and MHRD initiative. So OLabs are already available in the web domain. And we are also trying to integrate, these things in Diksha platform. So what happened, school, either they can carry out that OLab activities and they can demonstrate this practical activity to the student through OLab platform, or else student can do on their own, because all these experiment listed in our syllabus, especially for classes 11 and 12, is very much there. And one can individually, without any teacher's interventions also, one can perform. But only thing is that is virtual, theoretical. But once the situations gets normal, they can practically do in their chemistry lab, biology lab, and of course, physics lab.
Okay. The point is, that means you say that trial can be done on OLabs, right?
Yes.
And on Diksha platform, right?
The OLabs now it is independently available in CDEC.
Yeah. Okay. And how do people avail of Diksha platform?
No, Diksha, it is already there. In Diksha platform, we are trying to integrate OLab, so that OLab presently available at CDEC, it will be also available in Diksha platform.
Great. So this was a question from Bishwadip Mondal.
It's up to the student who want to access Diksha site or CDEC site.
So there is a question from a principal from Siliguri,
yes.
Darjeeling, Miss Victoria Rahman. She has asked, what about the examinations in the schools after the COVID lockdown is over and people get back? Do we continue with the same pattern of exams that were earlier, or something new?
You see, it's a easy plus difficult question. One way, the new education policy is going to be announced very soon. So where the assessment pattern is a complete new things are going to happen. But due to these crisis situations, what school can do, of course, schools are already practicing this semester pattern in terms of half yearly or annual exams. So that division of syllabus for half yearly exams and annual exams, that can be patternized. And of course, with respect to assessment, one school can also aim to do this objective type and competency-based assessment. Competency-based assessment, I want to mean the learning outcomes, the all school principal must look into the learning outcomes listed by NCERT. It is readily available both NCERT website as well as CBSE website. Now, teacher need to focus upon to prepare the item, question to test the learning outcomes, not the basic road-based issue which usually we test through our question paper or through the school question paper. So that learning outcomes testing will ultimately give us the competency, and that competency-based education is actually theme for CBSE's particularly for 2020.
Dr. Saha, Principal Tejas Kumar Tarkar is asking,
Yes.
my question is bulk registrations of students and science teachers from class 9 to 12 possible in OLAB's website for upcoming academic session? Is it possible or not?
It's not a question of bulk registrations. It is available in the portal. Any n number of students can access that particular site, do the experiment. There is no restriction. As on date, there is no restriction. It is a freeware, complete freeware. No question of registration also. One can directly go into that particular site, open that physics lab experiment. Virtually that experimentations will be showcased. And not only that, related questions, Viva questions are also available in that particular site.
Very good. One more question. Real-time interaction and
video-based experimentation and the question answer.
Okay. So one question more. Real-time interaction and asynchronous learning. What sort of balance and proportion should be there? How can you have a balance for both after COVID? I mean, after lockdown.
After COVID, yeah. You see, many a time the schools struggle with their timetable. Timetable, I want to mean that most of the schools focus upon 4 or 5 subjects. 4 or 5 subjects, but CBSE offer many additional optional subjects both at secondary and senior secondary level. And many students of, I believe from West Bengal also, many students opt 6 subjects. But school usually face difficulty in managing the 6 subjects in their normal timetable. Hardly 2 to 3 periods they allocate. Now, post-COVID, through digital medium, either on Saturday also teachers can address the student through, unlike this Zoom meeting. Or they can conceptualize assignment-based program, which usually missing as on date. Only specific 2 period subject coverage is there. And most of the schools are usually practicing that. Only very few schools they rationalize the timetable in a manner so that it accommodates at least 5 to 6 periods for every subject, even if it is 6 or 7.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Shivam Pratap, please mute your phone. Dr. Shivam Pratap, please mute your phone. Okay, Dr. Shaha, another question from Dr. Naveen Das. He is our Dean of Management Business School. You have mentioned about collaborative resource sharing among schools. How can public and private universities act as nodal points for such collaboration?
Highly possible. First of all, Vidyadan 2.0 is active right till I believe tomorrow. So every institute and individual, and through this forum, I would like to request each one of you that you can nominate yourself either as an academic institute or as an academician. Nominate yourselves to Vidyadan website. You simply log in diksha.gov.in, or it is also readily available at CBSE website. There is a provision to, first of all, nominate yourself towards Vidyadan program, and thereafter, whichever content you want to contribute, either it could be for elementary level, middle level, secondary level, or senior secondary level. Okay. So accordingly, you can nominate and contribute. A subject-specific contribution is also allowed. And as an institute, they can contribute
Very
many video lecture, mind map, PowerPoint presentations,
Very
even item, which is a huge resource for us. Quality question is missing. If you some of you can also go for action research on the pattern of school board questions vis-a-vis first year university question
Very nice.
on the related subjects.
Great. Dr. Saha, from our channel Chetana.tv, we are coming out with 6 hours of educational new program every day. 6 hours video. So we'll surely collaborate.
Why don't you nominate Chetna TV to Vidyadan?
Yes, we'll get back. Good that we are listening to
and
it.
I'll connect the technical team with
Yes.
you and other
Good that we are listening to you, we are knowing about it, and that was the purpose of this whole webinar. Will reach out so that we can know about new developments. So Diksha.com and Vidyadan have been a great point. Mr. Amrit Sarkar is asking, Zoom, Google Meet, MS Meet, what do you suggest? Do you have any suggestion between Zoom, Google Meet and Microsoft Meet? Do you have any suggestion, hacking, non-hacking issues and all?
Here we are not the right persons to recommend any or giving a biased comment with respect to a specific vendor. Use it, see the performance. If it is all right, then continue. There are huge, you please look into the World Bank site. There are huge repository of listed freeware. There is a complete report for all, I believe, all 132 countries, what kind of technological platform they are using. The complete report is there in the World Bank site, and all educationists can go through, and even it is also available in the OECD website. So they are talking about many platforms. And of course, the platform you are referring, they are also equally good. Many teachers and principals are giving a positive feedback.
Sir, one important point here, and that would be the last question in this round plus, but don't go away because people are asking more questions as we go. Yeah, the question here is from Professor Madhurima. Digital divide you have spoken about, and Dr. Shud also has spoken about a huge digital divide in the country, and large number of parents are not knowing technology. They are not even many a time not even properly educated. So forget technology. So digital divide is real time. How do we really handle this data? What do you suggest to the government, to private initiatives? What can be done to reduce the digital divide as we go ahead? This will be the last question of this round.
Okay. I have already suggested few, but of course I am just adding one or two. What we can do initially, subdivision-wise digital education facilitation center in PPP mode, or even it could be a standalone government initiative, or the universities and as well as college computer lab. It can be open for the local community, those who are not able to access through their handheld device. So I think that way we can minimize. And this digital device, not only in India or all those developing nations, it is equally, even, let me tell you, I think last 2 weeks I had read one report. It is equally applicable in America. Nowadays, you can look into that Boston district, they have purchased 20,000 Chromebooks and giving a free hotspot for their neighboring community. So there also it is applicable. It is not here. So collaborative effort, through collaborative effort only we can minimize that. And last point, to minimize the digital divide, many of us are having our old smartphone simply putting in drawer or somewhere in house. So please donate this unused smartphone to the neighbors who are not able to access this. Please donate it immediately.
Great, thank you. We will get back to you, sir, again for some more questions. Miss Dr. Ritu Shud, would you be interested to answer this? What more can be done by government, particularly on digital divide bridging? Because that's a genuine issue in the country.
In fact, I was just listening to what Mr. Saha was saying, that to donate it to the neighborhood, and he was talking about USA. The thing is that in USA we don't have the illiteracy problem that we have it in India. Here the parents, there the parents are educated. Here the parents are not educated. I'll give you an example. I'll just give you a small example. When the lockdown had started, now what happened was that immediately the domestic help who was working here, she said that now the school is closed and my son is in 12th, uska to, his board exams are stopped, and how do I study him, how does he study, his books are in the school and everything. I said, you have a smartphone, ask him to study through that. No, 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 I cannot give him smartphone, he'll go and see films, he'll do this, he'll do that. You know, the fear, because she herself does not know the technology, they don't understand. So and you know, I have done a lot of films on adult education and adult literacy. I think we need to focus on that, because this generation is a technological driven generation. They are more smarter than what we were. So if the parents are not technology savvy, it will be very difficult. In fact, to bridge the gap will be very difficult. I think government should do something for the parents also, because to educate parent is very important today. In fact, in the times of pandemic also, the parents need to be educated. Otherwise, the I mean, the victims would have not risen so much as it is happening today. Somewhere we are failing. Somewhere we
come
are.
back to you again with new questions.
Sure.
It's a very vibrant discussion we are having. I have got more than 45 questions. Some questions are similar, so I have clubbed them together. We have answered more than half of the questions we have got, but we will be taking up the other questions as we go ahead. Before the third speaker comes in, I would like to very much mention, yes, we need the private institutions to collaborate with the communities around and give their resources in the off hours, non-lecture hours, non-class hours for utilization as a digital resource center for the community. No doubt about that. Also, parental education is required, no doubt about that. But sincerely, I would like to also request the good offices of the CBSE director that there should be an internal desire or demand within the system that investment in education, public health education, has to be higher. At this point of time, India's investment is below 3% in public education. Perhaps we need to double the amount and use that additional amount for creating digital infrastructure. Many governments, like in Bihar and Bengal, give cycles, bicycles to class 10. Perhaps we will need going ahead giving tabs to the class 10 students, or anywhere at any level, tabs as well, because that might somewhat bridge the digital divide. Digital access, digital connectivity is soon emerging to be the new human right demand. New demand to actually bring an equitable society, society based on equity. So obviously, this is something that we need to take it up at a much larger scale. There was one question before I bring the third and last but never the least, and a very well awaited speaker to you just now. Before that last question I will take, there is a question from Mr. Amrit Sarkar. Adamus post-COVID sanitization. Let me tell you, sir, Adamus University, day after tomorrow, I am telling in advance, day after tomorrow is going to be the first university in East and Northeast India to declare officially a 24-page document, which is our response to COVID-19 situation. So Adamus combats COVID-19 under this title. A e-press conference, a digital press conference, shall be held on Tuesday morning, where for the first time in East and Northeast India, in other parts of India, some universities have done, but East and Northeast India, we shall come out with an official document which will bring together all academic, non-academic, social, professional development, career development, placement internship, all initiatives, along with what initiatives we are going to do post-COVID, in the sense, the COVID will not vanish, as rightly told by Dr. Sood earlier, but in the post-lockdown situation, what sort of precautions, complete sanitization and physical distancing norms are we bringing on campus? This document will actually have that. I'm not getting into that document. This program is not for that, but it will be announced day after tomorrow and will be available on our website after that. And a soft copy can be sent to anyone who contacts our office. This is in response to Mr. Amrit Sarkar. We have the pleasure now to introduce and invite Professor Vivek Vaswani. Kindly put your phones on mute. Yeah, this is the basic norm of any webinar. At one point of time, one mic would only be on, others should be please kept on mute. Okay, going ahead. I have the pleasure now to introduce a very charming gentleman, an educationist, someone who is known to you in a different context. Jawan Sambhal Ke, Dekh Bhai Dekh, and many others. So you know him in that context as a comedian actor, as a comedian, as an actor. Also, many people know him as a producer of films, director of films. He is the man who has launched Shah Rukh Khan as well, and many other actors, directors, and all. Today, he is Professor Vivek Vaswani, the Dean of School of Contemporary Media of Pearl Academy. Over to you, Dr. Vaswani. Professor Vaswani, please come on video, and over to you now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I'm really delighted to be here this evening. I have not been an educationalist or an academician for most of my life. As Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary told you, I have been a producer, a director, a writer, an actor. But at Pearl, I think they wanted someone from industry. They did not want someone from academics. And when I told them that I am not an academician, they said, you come from profession, you come from industry, maybe you will give us some valuable insights. It's been a very joyful experience, but my journey into education started with a film I produced 4 years ago called Rough Book. Rough Book was about the educational system in India. It did rather well. I played it across schools, across colleges, across educational institutes, and it got a tremendous response, not just from the students, but also from the parents and the teachers. And that led me to becoming a guest lecturer at a lot of educational institutes, MET, Usha Praveen Gandhi, Atharva, and it also led to me speaking at a lot of educational conferences, seminars, and organically, I think the growth was that I became the Dean of the School of Contemporary Media at Pearl. Post Rough Book, taking me across to a whole bunch of conferences, making me speak, allowing me to get my confidence in myself was only due to Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary. He did not look at me as an actor or a director. He always looked at me as someone who could deconstruct and demystify things. And he took me along with him to a bunch of conferences, seminars, and here I am today in front of you. On the 13th of March, when the lockdown was announced, we had a major meeting at Pearl, and by the 17th of March, the entire school had moved online. We set up to teach on a platform called Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. We found that to be more valuable to students as well as to faculty. For education, we could do assessments, we could store, we could record, we could take attendances. So what we did is we made shells at Blackboard Collaborate, like classrooms, and all the students do was go place to place online. Surprisingly, this is something that we noticed. We got larger attendance online than we were getting otherwise. For our students, they found it easier maybe not to commute, I don't know. But attendance went up to more than 90%. Of course, faculty was severely challenged because it meant doing a lot of work. It also meant looking after your house, your husband, your wife, your children, your parents while you were under lockdown. And somehow we have, tomorrow, Monday, will be the 9th week or 8th week, I'm not too sure, of being completely online. Assessments are happening online. Juries are happening online. Assignments are being given online. We're doing a series of webinars with industry. At Pearl, nothing has really stopped. It's almost become like just another day of work. Going further, regardless of the lockdown and regardless of the lockdown being over and regardless of us finishing the battle with COVID, and I hope that we finish this battle very, very fast. I think schools will have to opt for a combination of campus education, face-to-face, and online education. And we will have to even move forward into that online education being synchronous as well as being asynchronous. I think if asynchronous, synchronous, it will become the combination of the way we
1 minute, Vivek. Pinky Bansia, you were muted. Yes, okay, continue.
In the future. Having said that, and before going into the various challenges of teaching online or giving education online, and not going even into the good points, the strong points, I mean, before we go into the pros and cons, I would like to say one thing which I firmly believe in, which I have always believed in all my life, but right now, even more emphatically so. The strongest weapons we will have as educationalists post-COVID, the biggest weapons we will have will be empathy and compassion. It's all very well for us to talk about these things almost by rote, but even when we go online and even when our students are online, we don't know the kind of pressure that they are going to be going through. They're facing pressure because there is death at their door. They're facing pressure because maybe their parents don't know whether they will have jobs at the same salary or even no jobs in the future. They don't know someone in their building is going to get the disease next day and they're going to be quarantined. They are facing anxiety. They're facing stress. And they're facing the kind of stress that they have not faced in the last 16, 15, 14, 17 years of their life. They are children. It is up to us to start being more empathetic. It is very, very important for us to start showing compassion to them. And that, I think, is the first critical thing that we need to do as educationalists. We have to not just be their teachers, we have to be their counselors, we have to be their mentors, we have to be their guides, we have to be their strongest source of support. The second point extends to the parents. Parents are very stressed. Parents are now wondering whether they should pay the kind of school fees or college fees that they're going to do, considering that half their classes, maybe or full-time classes, are going to be online. Parents are going to look at, if it has to be online, they're going to look at a variety of choices for their children. Parents are even more stressed than their children. Sometimes, especially for us, Ujjwalda, because you are Dean of School of Media, Ritu, you're also Dean of School of Media, I'm Dean of School of Media. Our challenge and my biggest challenge has been to explain to parents what exactly is media. See, doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, government jobs, IAS, IPS, chartered accountant, these are careers that parents know about. These are careers where parents feel secure. But when we talk about media, and in my case, School of Contemporary Media, the first situation is explaining to the parents what exactly are the career baskets that we can offer to their children. What is media? What does it entail? How big are the professions? How secure will their children be? So when they go into niche, what they think niche, I think it's mainstream because I've been there for 40 years. But when they send their children into, let me put it another way, non-traditional, non-conventional education, so that they can move into what they think are non-traditional and non-conventional careers, then that is already a stress. Add COVID and add money, the parents are sitting on time bombs. They don't know what to do. That's where it comes to us as deans, as teachers, as educationalists, as senior faculty, as principals of schools and colleges, to actually hold the parents by their hand and guide them through. There is a new reality, whether we like it or not. There are new careers and new professions. Older professions are becoming obsolete. Newer professions are such that we don't even know what kind of professions are going to exist 5 years from now. We don't know what's going to get obsolete 2 years from now. So we have to not just be their teachers, counselors, and guides. We also have to be visionary, and we have to have the capacity to share that vision with parents. We have to show them the big vision of the future. We have to give them confidence. A lot of parents are thinking that they should take a gap year for their children.
No. Bad.
So what if they sit at home for 1 year? So what if they don't go to college for 1 year? There is disease and death outside our door. Let them sit, let them take a gap year. They can do a few online courses. We will figure out 1 year from now. And if everyone starts thinking like this, then where do we as educational institutes go? Where do we as schools and colleges go? Where do we go with the kind of infrastructure that we have painstakingly built over the years? Where do we go with the kind of crores that we have spent on building world-class facilities for our children? If the parents are going to say, let our children take a gap year, we can't send them out. So this is what we have to do. Step one, we have to be empathetic, and we have to treat our children with extraordinary compassion. We have to be their guides. We have to hold their hand. We have to make them want to study with us. Two, we have to do the same with the parents. We have to make sure that the parents understand how important it is for their children to continue with their education, not to take those gap years. Three, we have to, once the lockdown is done, we have to make sure that we have absolutely best sanitary, sanitized, deep cleaned campuses with security and sanitary security going in, going out, so that we have a safe place, a safe environment, a safe universe for our children, our students to thrive.
Thank you.
Of course, continue doing online work. I mean, today I get industry into my college. I talk to producers, directors, actors, people from advertising, journalism, and media to continuously come and give lectures to our students. That will possibly go online so that all campuses can benefit from that one online lecture. So we will be doing synchronous work. We are already discussing whether we should do some courses full-time, whether we should do it, but I don't know. Time will tell. But there will be some things which will now go online, and there we will then face a whole bunch of other challenges. Network is a challenge. There will always be a child who's in a zone where there is no network. They have to share computers in the house. Everyone doesn't have one laptop per person in the family. Networks are an issue. Smartphones are an issue. Laptops are an issue. Focus and attention is an issue. You have 3 children. You have 2 bedrooms. Everyone is sharing bedrooms. There's somebody in the kitchen. There are grandparents who have to be looked after. You are not just learning focused like you would in a classroom. You're sitting in the middle of 20 different things happening in the house and still trying to focus. So there are already those challenges on. And there is one more point. Once the lockdown is done, how are you going to keep the children at home? They're not going to be home. The parents don't want them to be home. The parents go to work at 8 or 9 in the morning. They want their children to be in the safe campus environment from at least 8 or 9 or 10 in the morning up to 4 or 5 or 6 in the evening. They want to know the children are safe. They don't want to know that the children are doing online education, which means they can bunk a lecture and go and see a movie and nobody would be the better. So keeping all these things in mind, we have to do a lot of thinking with a lot of care. We have to figure out all the aspects. We have to be empathetic. We have to be compassionate. We have to understand what is going to be the need of the future. We're going to understand how to seamlessly blend our asynchronous, synchronous, and face-to-face so that it becomes into a great experience for our children. We have to do online classes for even our faculty so that they get proficient, not just in teaching online, but they don't just become online robots.
Yeah. Thank you. Vivek, there is a question for you. Can I? Yeah. Dr. Navin Das, Dean Business, is asking, he has seen your film Rough Book, and he has seen that you have placed practical hands-on knowledge above bookish knowledge in rough book. Now he is asking that these physical plus digital, synchronous plus asynchronous, this learning, how will it change the face or the rot in education? How will it change and evolve? If you could speak on that.
So it is my honest opinion that this is the operational part of it. We have to go much before that into the thought. If we are going to do face-to-face, online, synchronous and asynchronous, first we have to go right back to understanding what we are teaching them and what is in the syllabus. Then we have to figure out the curriculum. Then we have to figure out which one of these will benefit from going synchronous or asynchronous and which ones will not work if it is not face-to-face. So syllabus and curriculums are going to take a major change. There will be things happening in the world which may make us take a hard look at our curriculum and take things out. And then because we've taken those things out, there will be a lot of things that we will have to add into the curriculum. So the first step would be to continuously look at your curriculum and completely revamp it in the first phase. While this is happening, you have to do teacher training all over again so that they can adapt to the new curriculum and they can adapt to the new reality of being able to teach online and offline seamlessly. Third, we have to create systems whereby being online, it doesn't mean that they're on holiday. They can just put it on and they can daydream or do other things. A lot of people do that, and I've become an expert at understanding how kids, and they're smarter than us. These millennials are way smarter than us. They figure out ways of being completely 100% attendance and yet not being in class. It's very easy for them. You know, most of them are expert computer hackers at the age of 12 nowadays. You know, so we have to sit and refigure them out. And we have to stop thinking of education as academics. So this is the first part. The second part is, as Saroja is saying, parents are always worried. We have to make sure that parents understand that by going online, we are not copying out. We're not going online because we want to save money. We're not going online because we want to expend less electricity in our campuses. One parent actually asked me that. We're not going online because it is a matter of convenience to us. We are going online because it is of benefit to your students. We are going online because it is the next logical step in the evolution of education. We are going online because we can get you international faculty teaching you from London and America and Europe. We would not have been able to do that face to face. We have to educate parents about the benefits of going online. So change the curriculum, make it adapt to the new learning and the new reality, then convince parents, and then rework that syllabus. Actually get international faculty to become guest lecturers and visiting lecturers. Actually get courses which otherwise would not have been possible if you hadn't been online. Yes. And that's when you can go forward because you're going to be able to do things. So on the one hand, practical becomes a problem. Lab work becomes a problem. As I did in Rough Book, I showed them how to learn. In Rough Book, we taught them physics on the football field. We taught them physics by teaching them about eggs and bottles and guitar and strings. And we did a whole bunch of stuff. Now, a lot of that may not be possible because you don't have practicals. You don't have your labs open. You're not going to be able to crowd 40 students into a lab the way we used to. But on the other hand, there's a whole bunch of new education that is going to be possible because you are online. So we have to make the most of these opportunities, and we have to do what I always believe in the film industry. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, correct the weaknesses or adapt them and build on your strengths to become bigger, better, stronger. So this is also something that we have to look at. We have to look at online not as a matter of convenience, but as being able to do things that we were never able to do before and start working on those and make that into our strength. For example, I'm actually somehow managing to get Meera Nair, who's a great international filmmaker who lives in Canada, to give a couple of online lectures to my students. I'm in the School of Media, but I don't know the lady. So I had to find a friend who found a friend who found a friend who found a friend or who got in touch with Meera. But otherwise, they would never have had a chance to get Meera Nair to talk to them. Are you understanding? So it's not easy, not even for me, though I'm from the media. It's painstaking, it's hard work, it's backbreaking. It's like manual labor virtually. But if it has to be done, then it has to be done. If we have to do it for the sake of our students, we have to do it. I have always been a teacher, from Shah Rukh Khan, which everyone knows about, to a whole bunch of other people whom I mentored and guided through their careers: directors, producers, actors, even technicians. So all my life, one of the reasons why I seamlessly moved into the education career that I have now is because I was always a mentor all my life. It became very easy. But for me, it was never about the education, it was about the child. And I firmly believed that I had to realize what that child was thinking and adapt what I was teaching that child into a language that the child was able to understand. I'll give you one example of something that happened 3 weeks ago. I had a child, and the parents were at their wits' end. They wanted to, so they sent the child to me, and I talked to the boy. So I told the boy, I said, "Buddy, what are you interested in? Let's start from there." He said, "I'm not interested in anything." I said, "Well, you got to be interested in something." He said, "Well, I don't mind doing arts if I don't have to do history, and I don't mind doing science if I don't have to do physics, and I don't mind doing commerce if I don't have to do accounts and maths." So I said, "Buddy, I'm not asking you what you want to study. I'm asking you what you like." So he hummed and he hawed, and I sent the parents out of the room, and the boy comes and says, "Sir, truthfully, I'll tell you, I like girls." I said, "Really? Are you talking of lust?" He said, "No, I just like them." It took 20 minutes of conversation after that, and we figured out 20 separate major careers, from talent management to event management to celebrity management, from glamour photography to destination wedding photography. I figured out 20 separate major lucrative careers for him, and I've never seen a boy so excited. And then 4 days later, the parents called up and said, "Sir, he's online, he's figuring out courses, he's figured out what to do. He wants to choose between wedding photography and glamour photography. He also wants to work as an intern in an event management company. Finally, he wants to open his own talent management company. What have you done to excite the boys so much?" And that, I think, is the essence of education. Not just throwing knowledge or throwing bookish knowledge at them, but actually finding what makes them tick, and then opening the doors to them, demystifying things for them. So I've been able to do it, luckily, with a lot of kids. Now, as a dean, I may not be able to do it with one-on-one individually, but with the parents, you don't have a choice. I have personally, in the last 8 weeks, talked to nearly 275 sets of parents on the phone individually between 5 and 9 every night. I'm just on the phone talking to every single parent of past students, present students, and future students. And just talking as a friend, allaying their fears, giving them support. And when they're able to talk to us and get the empathy, they realize that if this man is looking after us so much, this must be the right place for my child. And each one of you can do the same thing. Show that empathy to the parents, the children will belong to you. Touch the right pulse on the children, and you will be able to give them not just successful degrees and certificates, but you will be able to give them successful careers, which is exactly what our duty, our dharam is in the first place. At the end of the day, I would like to just sum up with 3 single points. Demystify, depressurize, and dispel myths. You have to first start by depressurizing the parents and the students. They're taking a lot of stress, they're under a lot of pressure, and this is going to get worse. You have to depressurize them, and then you have to demystify what you're going to teach them. You have to deconstruct. You have to explain to them with simple building blocks. This is the big picture. This is the small picture. Let's start by taking baby steps. Once they take baby steps on their own, they will fly, trust me. And dispel the myths. Just dispel the myths. Let them know the truth about the simplest of careers. Let them know the truth about what they're doing. And if it's a little harsh, temper it with compassion, and just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Thank you, Ujjwal sir. Thank you, Mr. Ray. Thank you, all of you, for giving me this opportunity to share my few simple and humble thoughts. God bless you, and forgive me. I am not an academician. I don't know the right words. I just always speak straight from the heart. Thank you.
Vivek, you spoke from your heart and you spoke great. People are very happy. They're expressing on YouTube and here on chat their joy of listening to a language which is different from what they normally listen to. Thank you, Vivek. You have spoken about parental awareness. I would like to propose here just now in the program. You are in the Western India, Bombay. Ritu is in the Northern India, that is Delhi. I am in Eastern India. Let's collaborate to prepare some creative material of reaching out to parents on understanding the importance of blended learning, understanding the importance of online learning, how the future is physical plus digital or phygital. If we can do beautiful animated videos, simple videos, views of experts brought together in an interesting manner and package it and share it with the parents of our students and all the principals who are here. If we can share on simple, a small short video on WhatsApp, they can send it to their parents, and that might be a good learning experience for parents as well, and welcoming the new techniques and technology, new way of learning. So this is undoubtedly post-COVID and pre-COVID. There is a big difference. Before COVID and after COVID, there is a big difference with respect to education technology. Undoubtedly, demonetization brought in fintech, and interestingly, COVID is bringing edutech to the forefront, and therefore there is the need for such awareness videos which we three can collaborate. Vivek, your observations.
I would be delighted, Ujjwal sir. I have worked with you for a long time. Ritu is an old friend. I came to her when she was in Goenka, and I had great fun. And Ritu, I must tell you that the students I met that day when I came to Goenka and I did a day with you at the conference, Vidit and Amir, a whole lot of them, they're friends with me on Facebook, Instagram now. They meet
Now
me when
I'm
they...
inviting you to Sharda University. Come and meet us in Sharda University.
I'd be delighted to come anytime, wherever there are students. I'm delighted to go and interact. And all of them, whether it was the children from Goenka that I met for half a day, they are friends, and I counsel them even now. So,
Okay. Ujjwal, one thing I would like to add here is like Vivek was saying that parents do come to him with apprehensions and that why you are going online. The similar thing happens with us. See, the thing is we are online because your child is safe. We are online because we are also parents. We are educators. We want your child to be safe. It's not about cutting money. In fact, to be online makes it's more difficult to teach through technology than to be in a classroom. In classroom I go give a lecture and I come out, but here I have to capture the attention of a child, and it is more difficult, and there's so many multimedia that go into it, and we want your children to be safe. Please be safe. Come back to us when we in a healthier and a normal environment. Till then, study and be safe. That's what my request to the parents.
Actually, what you have said is the right, approach. Yeah, we need to really in online. We need to prepare far more than offline, because there are not just the lecture material. There are study material separate, online resources, video, podcast, PPT, PDF. Sometimes we have to shoot our own video and send it through WhatsApp. Then follow up on the WhatsApp what they're doing. Ask them to shoot their creative work and send on WhatsApp. Then we have to use the Facebook timeline as a wall of notices, like a notice board. I mean, these things we haven't ever done. This is really, really much more demanding, undoubtedly, about that. Thank you. Dr. Biswajit Saha, if you could please come on video. I'm trying to get, sorry. Yeah, Dr. Biswajit Saha, if you could once again come and speak about how the CBSE board and the schools can work together for this basic point that has been mentioned of reaching out to parents about the new technology, new style of education and all. What can we do together, the schools and the board together on this? Or from the board, what initiatives can be taken?
From the side of the board, lot of initiative we have already taken, and in fact, as I was listening, Professor Vivek and you, so definitely we can again think for some infographics which can be sent to all parents.
Very good.
Secondly, a open letter from our chairperson, letter to principal, of course, but that letter contain each and every component of ancient education to today's activity-based learning. Every components are being touched upon through that letter. The only thing is that people must read that letter and act as a bit of component. If it can be taken, I think that positive interventions will be there. Of course, there are certain other activity also we need to carry out for minimizing the, again, digital divide. That is, we can think of, unlike you might have heard of that Akash tab. Long back, IIT has came out with a solution. So now again, the industry as well as all higher educational institute, school education board must work together for new technology, which can easily accessible by the poor and all kind of student. It is no matter here that ritual classifications may not be there. For student, enrolled student, a device we can work upon, and for EdTech also some joint research with some leading institute abroad. And third, for the content design, I think there is a huge requirement that chapter-wise, now at this stage of crisis situations, we are doing learning from home. But gradually, we need to switch over to schooling from home, because that social distancing norms and otherwise it will retain for another 6 months, minimum 6 months. So it may happen the solutions from the side of the union government, then state with minor modification, and then educationist forum will comment upon, because everybody is thinking of their well-being. So here we need to work upon digital well-being also, and at the same time, there may be situation for lower classes weekly 1 day, for higher classes weekly 2 day. That kind of phenomena will be visible. Even for the college also, university also, that class-wise, section-wise scheduling will be carried out. So under that situation, that content redesign and chapter-wise, unlike that blended approach would be, of course, a effective solution. But what we need to carry out with the media experts intervention, we need to come up with a chapter-wise content transaction, as if the real lecture is happening in the web domain. So then only the student will enjoy that, and anytime, anywhere basis. So altogether, there are a lot of activities and policy frameworks also we need to work upon, so that policy level, we don't know as on date, there would be enrolled student versus availability of the device. So school, university, state, all together collectively do a random online survey and offline survey also with the help of some NGOs and all, so to know the real status of Indian connectivity. And thereafter that solutions, and somebody has touched upon the device loan. So somewhere we can think of, instead of cycle, the tab, and it should be an essential commodity. So there should be a budgetary provision from the side of the state that, okay, for each and every individual, unlike the classroom infrastructure, the digital tab or laptop or low-cost laptop or something, that sort of solutions we need to aim for. Then only effectively minimize.
Yes, sir. I was just now mentioning, Dr. Saha, that there could be a tab, low-cost tab that can be given out. Like cycles were given to girl children in 2-3 states of India. Similarly, tabs can be given. Once upon a time, the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh started giving some tabs. Then it was dropped in between. So now is the time. Allocation of budget should happen in that context. I would also like to draw the attention of those who are listening here that there are new techniques of education coming up. There is a particular board I would like to request actually my chancellor. He has been doing a series of program in two television channel, a few in ABP Anando and some in another CTVN channel, where he has taught mathematics through the television, by using a digital board. So I would request Professor Somitre sir to speak about that experience and how you have been doing and what is the benefit of that. Can it come to every school? Can schools afford that? Just give an idea, sir.
Actually, I want to share some experience. Initially, after the lockdown, our challenge was to transform all the class content on the digital platform for the students. It is a challenge. And yes, we have to take the program also for the parents, for the awareness, because some guardians are taking in that way that this is a low-cost education system. The involvement of the teachers and professor is less, but we all are teachers and the professor are very much aware about the how much involvement is required, because during the class time only they were involved 9:30 to 5, but during the last 1.5 months they involved 16 hours, 18 hours per day basis, because this is a strenuous things. So side by side we have to counseling the guardians also. Yes, because during the last 10 years a large number of guardians only considered mobile as a bad uses to their students. But this is the first time the Indian people took the opportunity to use the mobile in the right way, right direction. So we have to talk to the guardians also. Yes, it is a good instrument. It is not a bad instrument. Number one. Number two, we have to take another steps, because yes, we know very well that if at the age of 16 and
Shanmitra Ghosh, Om Nath Tiwari, please mute yourself. Kahini Palit, Shanmitra Ghosh, please mute yourself. Chandni, please mute the others. Yes.
So one of the important thing, we have to develop the leadership quality among the students also. If we consider the bad cases, there are some activities or the organization try to bring the bad things, to inject the bad thing digitally to a certain mind. So why not we will use the in the better way? So we can make the video and the counseling session also with the help of the psychologist. Every day the students will hear a particular direction, particular about the leaders, because we have the number of leaders in a country. So we can make the story. So leadership quality also can be developed on with the help of the digital platform also. Another thing the Professor Ujjwal is saying is during the last 1.5 months, we already taken some classes on the maths also. In that case, I used a digital board. Yes, it will be assessed by the process PDF file where the process will be written. At the same time, the excess homework and the home tasks also given for the use of that application, the method. Yes, it's very smooth thing. 80 to 90% students are very much aware, comfortable to take to receive the new process of the education. So I think as this is the first generations, not the learners also, the first generation guardians also, who are witnessing this process, the digital system, within a 2 to 3 years, this process will be as treated as the normal process. I think this is the challenge to all the teachers, to the faculty, also for the institute also. So at the same time, we have to take that program for the guardians to aware them to what is the digital process, what is the platform, what is the use of the digital platform. Another thing, we have to increase the skill of students, how they can use the mobile in the right way, for the good purpose. And the third one, our teachers also do experiment. Yes, how we can make the lessons attractive, how we can make the videos attractive, how we can make the content attractive. Yes, we can take the help of the, yes, it is possible, famous hero, heroine, and we can make the story also. You know it very well, the T20 cricket. Once cricket lost his attraction, but when all the people from the Bollywood, Hollywood, and the businessmen involved, and then the T20 came as one of the favorite game. So I think this is the time we have to do experiment. At the same time, we have to more innovation. So I think we are the teachers, we are the professors, we are the most talented people of the society. So we will find our own way. We will be able to find the innovation. At the same time, we have to take the program to avoid my guardians also, because yes, there's one part we have to take care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This point is very well taken. Just before you spoke, we three, Vivek from Bombay, Ritu from Delhi, and me from here, we were talking that we can create small videos and dissemination material which can be targeted towards the parents. And one of the viewer, Prasanjit Ray, has just now written that please do it in Indian languages also, not only English. The need is in Hindi or Bangla much more than such videos in English, which is very correct. And we shall look forward to doing that, sir, as you have suggested rightly. Vivek, very interestingly, one of the professors here, Professor Prantik Banerjee, said that you spoke from your heart, no Jawan Sambhal ke. There was no Jawan Sambhal, and everyone knows the famous serial Jawan Sambhal ke. So you did not do any Jawan Sambhal here, and you spoke from your heart. That is indeed good, and people are very happy to have heard you speaking out. I have the pleasure to invite Dr. Sanjeev Ghosh, who is a professor emeritus and the long-standing principal of Presidency College. And he has also worked with Nobel Prize-winning chemists. He is a recognized professor of chemistry. Share some ideas, sir, in this new transition that is happening with the coming in of synchronous and asynchronous education, the physical and the digital blending together. In this transition, what are your views, sir, particularly with respect to science education? Professor Dr. Sanjeev Ghosh.
Yes, thank you, Professor Ujjwal. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, I also thank all the speakers, particularly Vivek, for his very interesting talk, particularly about the awareness of guardians regarding the fear and anxiety of COVID-19. Now, what I want to mention very briefly, that last few weeks, I had conversation through mail with one of the very renowned chemistry person. He's a Nobel laureate, Jean-Marie Lane. He's in Strasbourg, and he's going to give a seminar for Adamos University faculty members and students within a few days. Now, I wrote to him that send some message for our faculty members and students of Adamos University. So he wrote to me, okay.
Yes, sir. Your sound is muted. Your video is stuck. I think your net has got hang up, I suppose. Oh, that's unfortunate. We'll try to get him again in some time. As he said, the Nobel laureate with whom he has worked from Germany, he would be giving a talk soon over video, and we will again inform you, at least those who can, particularly those who are science teachers, could come online, listen to him, and ask questions that you are asked, as the way you are asking questions just now. There was an observation by a viewer, Kamaldeep Singh, and he has asked about psychological counseling of class 11 and 12. Particularly, I really appreciate Psychological counseling of parents issue has already come, and of classes 11 and 12, I appreciate. And we from our university is also planning a concept called each one reach one. So those 12 students, class 12 students who are stuck up now at home, whose exams are not over, as you have rightly observed that they are in extreme tension of completing their HS exams and then moving on to career selection, and they are psychologically stressed out. For them, we would have psychological counseling starting with trained psychologists, psychiatrists and psychologists both, and very soon it will be started, and this will be also announced in all our social media outlets.
Professor,
And you can surely follow that. Many of the principals have already been discussed with on this particular issue.
let me intervene here.
Yes, yes, yes.
CBSE already has this telecounseling facility by eminent experts, including psychologists as well as principal.
Right.
So if any real-time problem is there, and our principal as well as eminent psychologists are ready, and through toll-free number they can contact, and it is freely available.
And this toll-free number is in the CBSE website?
Yes, it is very much. Not only CBSE, the other state boards, parents are nowadays, more parents are taking the sessions than that of the student.
Great,
So,
thank you. Thank you. That's a very good bit of information that you have shared. Please utilize that area as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Saha, would you now we are at the last fag end of this particular program, and dozens of messages are coming that it was very rich in content, rich in perspectives, and people have enjoyed the discussion, all the speakers' discussion, informative as well. Dr. Saha, before we leave you, could you give some more suggestions, particularly for the time ahead? As you said, for 6 months, there could be physical distancing, there could be larger part of online classes or digital classes. How do we maneuver through the syllabus, timetable, and completion of courses in the coming year, coming 6 months to 8 months in the schools? Dr. Saha.
Okay, so this is basically, we need to work upon that rationalization of syllabus also. And I am not touching upon with respect to the board examinations, and especially for the class 12, because that class 12 syllabus is also linked with the various professional entrance examination. So unless we jointly announce there is any reduction of syllabus, that may not be effective. But for the lower classes, especially for coming 1 year, that rationalization school can independently carry out, because classes 1 to 9, it is school-based assessment. So absolutely they are free to do it. For class 10th as well as for class 12, board will announce if there is any sort of development with respect to the rationalization of syllabus.
Great. Rationalization of syllabus is expected for 10 and 12, but the board will announce. For other classes, schools can take according to the real situation on the ground, right?
Yes, yes. Important topic and subtopic which they can cover comfortably, both in a blended approach, and the time they will get maybe from September onwards, September to February. So that time they can utilize accordingly. I expect by September everything will be normal, or otherwise partially normal.
Very good, very good.
That situation they can plan.
Yeah.
And assessment also they can divide it, because I try to address these issues also. This one is online assessment, both objective pattern as well as subjective pattern,
Right.
catering the requirement of learning outcomes need to be addressed properly. Otherwise, it is simple assessment, unlike previously we are doing, that may not be effective for the future.
Okay.
So the board is also planning to announce that kind of changes in the assessment pattern.
Okay.
So very soon, through our websites, we are going to inform the next 2021 sample question paper. Whenever we are going to announce it, that will reflect exactly what kind of pattern we are going to adopt for 2021 examination, and that may continue subsequently for 2022.
Right.
And of course, new education policy is trying to address that competency-based education. it would be mandatory for the state and union territories to implement by 2024 or 25. So that kind of nomenclature, when it would be there physically before us, then all kind of decisions can be taken in that way.
Dr. Saha, one more question with you. But you are not on video. Is it by mistake or by design? Can you come on video? Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. This is the last question. So I wanted you to come on video. Let the people see you and listen to you because this is the last question for you. There is a problem that people find on monitoring the academic progress of students when classes are online. So if you could speak how monitoring can be done better with this blended education and online education, how monitoring can be done, what sort of activities and initiatives can be taken to have this monitoring properly done?
You see, too much of policing is sometimes kill the basic purpose of education, because monitoring here, you see one way, because Professor Vivek, Professor Shod, and you as well as Professor Rai try to touch upon the psychological pandemics, what is happening in every household. So, and again, if we pressurize with respect to the monitoring mechanisms, especially progress and other issues, we can definitely do for classes 9 onwards for both school as well as higher education, the progress monitoring. But I completely believe that up to class 8, the parents, no matter they are illiterate or whatever, parents are the best teacher to monitor. If possible, that school and educational institute can sensitize them. That is the mandate for time. Unlike this kind of Zoom meeting, so more and more meeting with the parents virtually or through some literature we can, and even the community radio and radio network also you can utilize, so that we can sensitize parent to monitor. Not the school and college may not monitor the progress of the children in that way. But of course, for the academic progression and other purpose, the activity, worksheet, all those parameters are already there, and many schools are practicing it.
Right.
And they are regularly uploading, and they are trying to connect even the misbehavior in the platform also. The school and college the progress of the children.
Mute yourself, Rudraditya Sadhu Khan, mute yourself. Yeah, continue, sir. Complete your turn. Okay, the point is made. Sir, I would like to also mention here that digital education, for the first time, it is actually bringing forth voluntary learning. In the classroom, sometimes the imposing presence of the teacher, the strict discipline of the school, and the danda at times brings in monitoring and patience and discipline. But voluntary learning concept is also important for internalization of education. It is good that a blend of voluntary learning and moderated learning both are happening in the education coming ahead. Thank you, sir, for all.
One point that this is
Yes.
last point from my side. Basically, here at this stage, teacher also need to be trained, and CBSE
Right.
taken tremendous effort to train all its teacher. Physical teachers training we used to carry out hardly 30 to 40,000 per month, but during last 15 days, I believe more than 50,000 teachers we trained by organizing more than 4,000 online training session. And of course, another initiative board has taken, that is, we have a podcast channel called Shiksha Bani. So even if that school teacher or student misses any class, so they can listen through their Android phone. So that audio clippings of chapters for class 9 to 12, we are trying to upload. So far, we have uploaded approximately 400 audio files.
Okay.
So that is another mechanism. Those do not have the proper internet bandwidth and all, they can in fact also listen the audio chapter wise at the leisure time.
Very good, very good. Thank you. That was very useful. Very useful, sir. Anytime again, if we request you, please do come online in future and be there for the last 10-15 minutes. Also, some important feedback and some comments from the viewers will take. I have with me, as I was having earlier, Dr. Sanjeev Ghosh, who is the former principal of Presidency College. He was making a point and the internet connection got disconnected. Yes, Dr. Ghosh.
Yes, I was talking about, I heard about I heard all the speakers, how to develop, that lab-based subjects in the future, because the short-term measure or long-term measure of COVID-19, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Long-term measure is the vaccine development and short-term measure is the, development of drugs. So many scientists, the virologists, physicists, chemists, particularly, they're all, putting their labor to this development, how to find out the drug or how to find out the vaccine. So I was talking to many of my students who are top-notch scientists or, in various universities abroad and India. Now they want that more emphasis on lab in all the science subjects. Even in maths, they want lab for chemistry or biology or something. So I was wondering how to do this kind of thing, because without lab, science cannot survive. So we have to have lab. That's the main major concern, or actually I am worried about how to do this in near future, very near future. That's my question, how to solve this to the speakers.
Yeah, Dr. Saha, would you like to once again come on board and just take this question? Are you there? Yeah. How can you have spoken about O labs, I know, and that was a good point. And also there is this concept of virtual labs, virtual studio and virtual labs. But I obviously, Dr. Ghosh is right. Without physical involvement in a lab process, it's very tough to learn mathematics. Some comment would you like to give on this?
I completely agree with Professor Ghosh. Science and any skill subject without lab, it is highly superficial. So anyway, for time being, only for the crisis situation, that virtualization is a solution. But we need to have that physical lab activities. Unless the child is not exposed to that environment, the education is incomplete. I completely agree with you, sir. And here, of course, what we can aim for a policy paper, especially for STEM subjects, can we aim for a uniform curriculum for entire country? One nation, one curriculum.
Very good.
For arts and humanities, state-wise intervention could be there. And with respect to their culture, language, that biasness must be there.
Right.
But for STEM, I think if you look into of course, nowadays with the help of NCERT, many state boards also came forward to adapt the NCERT curriculum. But gradually, we need to work upon that. For all STEM subjects, there should be one nation, one curriculum. And then I think for all competitive exams and even for the higher education, it would be a smooth journey for all of us. But science without lab, it is going to bring another disaster. So lab activity must be there. And of course, redesigning of certain activities for timely digestions, that can be created. And maybe with the help of technology, some virtual, maybe some university may come up with effective solutions, which unlike for math lab and other statistical tools, similarly for the physics lab as well as for the chemistry lab, some new tools will be readily available. Some are already available, but that may not be effective for only for time gap arrangement that can be used, but that should not be the permanent solutions for all.
Right, right, very right.
I suggested
and one of the participants, higher secondary teacher Bornali Shane, is writing that we are finding and researching on newer ways of engaging students creatively, including the science subjects. And you are very right. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, these subjects actually require, even at the school level, whatever teaching is happening, requires a uniform sort of an approach or curriculum across the country, because it does not differ from Bengal to Kerala to Maharashtra or Madhya Pradesh. The course or the content does not differ. And you are also right that humanities require different approaches because of the language differences and cultural differences. But largely, the same subjects can have a uniform perspective. Yes, that is a very good. Thank you very much for that. Let me just quickly see if, okay, if Satyajit Hota sir, are you there? Yes. If you could unmute yourself and give a feedback. You have been writing a few comments. Thank you, Principal Satyajit Hota. If you could comment, please. Unmute yourself, Satyajit sir. Unmute. Unmute yourself. Bottom unmute. At the bottom left end. Yeah, now speak.
Good evening to you all. And really, it's the whole session. Actually, I'm listening very keenly, and we are the learners. So because we are teachers, so we are the learners. And really, so many things are coming one after another. But somewhere, still, we have to learn a lot of things. Exactly, the emblazing systems, the blending systems, the media role, as well as the role of our teaching procedures to reconnect with each others for the betterment of the whole nation. And what the uniformity the sir has told about the one nation, one curriculum, it's the really heads up mission for the country. And it will be because I am from rural areas come out, and I have seen that what is the great difference within the curriculum. Because it's our challenge as a teacher to develop the competence among the students, and really integration with different subjects. It is another challenge, and to take out all the students, and the changing of the mindset of the parents, it is also another changing, another process. But again, I'm saying that Acharya Deva Bhava. So we the teachers, if we want really from the core of heart for the betterment of the students, then definitely we will get the way. And really, the session is excellent, and it is unforgettable. And we require this type of session because we all are learners, and learning should continue. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's a great spirit and great comment that you have brought in. We are all learners, and this is one more time that you are learning from scratch. And it's a good thing, whether we are in 30s, 40s, or 50s of our age. It's a great learning experience. I am only learning every day. Google Class I never did. A Zoom meeting I never did. Many people have done, but I have only done Skype earlier. Every time, every day, I'm learning something new. Even to handle this program, I did not know. So there are a lot of things that we are learning. Thank you. That was a good spirit. Jaiswal madam, Saroj Jaiswal madam, she is principal of a school, a good school, a big school in Durgapur. Can you please come and speak your comment, your observation, something?
Good evening, everyone. Really, it's a blessing for all of us that we have got such an fruitful interaction from Vivek sir, from Vishwajit sir, and Ritu ma'am, Ajwal sir, and Samit sir. And in this crisis, as we have discussed here, we will appreciate if something will be made for the parents' motivation, some media purpose, school chalo one has been made for every society people. In the same way, something like in this crisis, if we can make something for the parents, in their languages, so that we can motivate them. And it will be easier for us, the schools, online classes and during post and this pandemic time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Shushmita Gangopadhyay, would you like to make a comment? Dr. Shushmita Gangopadhyay or teacher Priyanka Ghosh, would you like to make a comment? Either of you could unmute yourself. Okay, no problem. Dr. Amit Chawla, would you like to make a comment? You have been writing on the chat box, I saw. Dr. Amit Chawla, would you like to come on video?
Sure, sure. It will be an honor for me to comment on this wonderful session. First of all, my commendations to you and your team, sir, that you have organized such a wonderful session. One thing that I would like to mention here, and of course, adding to the points of all the speakers, that yes, it is a need for us as academicians to, teach, or rather inform at least the parents of the wards about how online education is important, why is it important for them right now. As well as I would like to mention that like other disciplines, mass communication and media education should also have a council. It is having a council, a media education and skill council, media entertainment and skill council, which of course Sharda University is a part of. But I think that, making one curriculum for media education is also one very important need of the hour. Well, with that, thank you so much, everyone. That was one observation that I wanted to share.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ujjwal, sir.
Dr. Sood, Dr. Ritu Sood, would you make a closing comment? A closing comment. Unmute yourself. The smiling, graceful lady, if you could make a closing comment, please.
Yeah, I would like to thank your university, yourself, Chancellor Sir, and all my colleagues here. Thank you so much for inviting me here and sharing this session. And of course, the need of the hour is that we have to be careful, we have to be safe, we have to be literate, and the future of our children is in our hands. And as parents and as educators, it is our duty to give them the best, and at the same time educate the parents, give them the best of everything, content, everything, so that, because they are the future citizens and they are what the India will be in 5 years, 10 years down the line. They are our future Indians, and it is our responsibility that we have to, even in these times, it is our responsibility to teach them, even though through distance learning, teach them properly and make them as educated as they would be in normal times. And my request to parents is that we are doing this to keep your children safe, because your child is our child and he's the future of our country. Please bear with us.
Thank you. Principal Aparajita Bhattacharjee, would you like to make a comment? You have been writing in the chat box a lot. Principal Aparajita Bhattacharjee, yes, ma'am. Yes, you are there. Unmute yourself.
Done. I have done. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, sir. I think many important points have been covered, and I was especially touched by Professor, Vivek Vaswani's, heartfelt talks and the way he relates to the students and the ideas that they have given. And sir, you have also mentioned that you will be, you are going to give a 24-page document on Tuesday.
Yes.
So right now, West Bengal board students, can they, access and, go over to all the sites which, Dr. Saha had suggested? Because CBSE is doing a lot of work, and there are many sites that, we are getting to know of. So at this point of time, my only concern is how the students, will be benefited by these, important aspects that we are all coming up with. So my personal view is that psychological counseling first, monitoring the student is not an issue, because the students will get interested the moment they find that a lot of care is being taken. Teachers are doing a lot of work. So can you, as an university, organize teacher training sessions and, in segments in the form of videos, and parental psychological counseling sessions in videos, and share with us over WhatsApp so that we can circulate that? Because from principal to teachers to parents, it will go in that order, and students will benefit in that way.
Thank you. I will, at the end of the show, I will ask Professor Samit Ray to comment. At that time, he can respond to this particular. Yes, Ms. Rosie Mukherjee, you want to speak? Yes, 1 minute, please. Ms. Rosie Mukherjee, would you come?
Yes, so
come on video.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a teacher at Adamus International School, sir. I actually thank you for this wonderful webinar. So it was so informative for us. And since Adamus International School has been following both synchronized as well as asynchronized type of learning, we are into a hybrid online teaching right now, sir. And we all as teachers, I think we have evolved over the last 1 month into a new category of e-teachers now. And it was challenging, and thanks to our chancellor, sir, who has been so encouraging, and he said that teachers have been actually working for 16 to 18 hours for the last 1 month. And thank you so much, sir, for appreciating this for the teachers. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Professor Vivek Vaswani, please a concluding comment from you, Vivek. Where are you, Vivek? Are you there? Yes, there is the big man, Jawan Samalke. Yeah, now he doesn't samalo the Jawan.
I would like to thank all of you for listening to me. I have taken back.
Louder.
I would like to thank all of you for listening to me. I have taken back a lot of things from this conference, webinar. We don't call them conferences anymore. I am still learning how to be an educationalist. So every webinar that I attend is a learning process for me. I'm slowly and surely understanding the ways in which I can better myself and better my practices for my students as well as my faculty. Ujjwalda, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the Samit Ray Foundation, Adamus University. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Please, we have all together as educationalists started a dialogue. Let us continue with this dialogue as much as we can, because all of us need to synergize with one another, and sharing is the need of the hour. So I am delighted to share everything that I can. And God bless you all. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you, Ujjwal.
Thank you, Vivek. Very soon, you, me, and Ritu will connect on Zoom and have a discussion on how can we take the suggestion that we had earlier forward on preparing content for for guardians and all that. We'll discuss that. So before we conclude, can I request Professor Samit Ray to come on video, please? One last time. Are you there? Are you there, sir?
This man has the big spirit.
Just now might not be there, but he was there recently. So what we will do now, because it's already 7 o'clock, we were supposed to end at 7. We have been getting a lot of congratulatory messages from everyone on the chat box and YouTube live box as well. More than 600 people actually, sometime or the other, and for the larger part, have been listening to this discussion. I really am thankful for having this program proposed by the Samit Ray Foundation. People have been asking about the certificate. You have registered through someone, through the same person, you will get the certificates as well, e-certificate for participation. So that would be coming. We have the record of all those who have registered, so no problem on that side. Next Sunday, we'll come with another topic. We'll be informing that very soon, a new creative, a new set of speakers, and we'll be looking at another aspect of COVID and beyond COVID life. It could be related to our food habits. It could be related to our lifestyle. It could be related to how do we run our small businesses, which have been affected very badly. How do you face, if there is a recession, how there is a recession, how to face that recession. It could be about vaccine and the medical preparations that's happening. We have Dr. Rudra Saha here. We have Dr. Rajat Rai. They are scholars of that subject, and they have already written in newspapers about this. So we might come out that. So there is a series which will happen over 8 Sundays. This is the first Sunday, fabulous success, 600 participation, 100 on the Zoom, another 500 plus on the YouTube. And I mean, perhaps more than 100 comments and questions so far. Many people have been asking. I could manage to bring only maybe 1/3 or little more than 1/3 of the questions. Not possible to bring all these questions within 2 hours. And a huge thank you to Dr. Bishwajit Saha. In spite of being a very senior functionary of Indian government education system, you could find time and you could devote time and repeatedly come online, come on face and answer the questions. And all the suggestions you have got have actually given new light to the school teachers who would be school principals who would be utilizing this as they go ahead. Thank you, Dr. Ritu Sood, for your time and for bringing in a lot of information from particularly from what you are doing at the university level and what we can do together. And Vivek Vaswani, Salam Saab, we had gone around 22 cities of India together, talking to youngsters and inspiring them 2 years earlier. I feel that we have brought people from several homes, 600 homes together in the last 2 hours, and across several towns of India, largely from Bengal, but there are many from outside Bengal as well. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Ghosh, India's leading chemistry professor, for your wholehearted participation. And you also thank you for bringing in a Nobel Prize winning chemist soon through video for talking to us. We'll be sharing this information with all participants in times to come. Thank you all. It is not possible to name everyone the names that I'm seeing, but just personally take that it is a personal thank you from Samit Rai Foundation, from my Chancellor and myself, to everyone, speaker, participant, commentator, who had participated in the interactive session and all that. With this, we bring this session to an end. See you next Sunday, 5 p.m. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.